So when it comes to the subject of building multiple streams of income, there isn't any shortage of videos out here on YouTube about this subject. You've got people like Nate O'Brien and Graham Stephan earning tens of thousands and even hundreds of thousands of dollars per month from their various sources of income they've created over the years. This video, and Brittany's and my situation on the other hand, is a lot less exciting in terms of the numbers, but we still hope this video will be something you can learn from and maybe even get inspired by. And that is how Brittany and I have developed 9 sources of income that have earned us about $7,500 so far this month. And more importantly, the big problem with it.
So our first 3 sources of income we're grouping into one category, which is Mike and I's working income. And that includes my job, which is a 9 to 5. I work 40 hours a week in healthcare. Typically, I've seen anywhere from a 5 to 10% increase in pay per year. And that's usually due to changing jobs or positions every 2 years.
So Brittany's done a pretty good job of getting another job, working at a different company every 2 or 3 years or so. And each time that she's transferred positions or companies, she's consistently gotten like a 10% raise, which I think is pretty much what people suggest or recommend doing for those who work like a 9 to 5 like Brittany does.
Because if I didn't, I would have only seen like a 1% to 3% yearly raise.
Our second source of working income is what I do. I'm self-employed and I kind of do two totally different things. The first thing I do is tutoring. So I work with high schoolers and college students in the subjects of math and science. So I got into this during college, actually. I was working a job that I just really didn't like all that much. It wasn't paying very well. I think I was earning like $12 an hour, which I guess at the time wasn't too bad for an hourly rate, but I saw this opportunity, I saw the potential there of earning a lot more than I was currently earning. I first started doing this, I think I was charging around $30 or $35 an hour, and I have since then raised my rates to between $65 and $70 an hour, just depending. The second thing I'm doing that I've just recently started doing is photography, and I work primarily with hotels and resorts and that kind of thing. And I started this because tutoring was becoming very, very limited to like the hours of the afternoon and into the evening. So at most, I could work like 5 hours a day with clients with tutoring. However, with photography, it's a much higher income skill and I can work all hours of the day. Brittany and I actually made a video about this, about like side hustles. Photography for me started as a side hustle.
It quickly grew into a business.
Yeah, and I got to the point where I was earning up to like $1,600 a day with it. And I was pretty much replacing the tutoring income with photography very quickly. However, with recent world events, hotels and resorts kind of went downhill. And that income stream is almost all but dried up. I do have one job this month with photography. So those 3 income sources combined, Brittany's job and my 2 self-employed kind of gigs, have earned us $6,397.09 this month.
And our next income source is YouTube, which is the channel you're currently watching, and that has brought $868.50 this month.
Yeah, which reminds us to say, if you're enjoying the video, please hit that like button, helps out a lot. So this is something that Brittany and I have wanted to do for a long time. And it actually started off as just me because Brittany was very camera shy.
Very shy.
And this is just something that we started not even a year ago. And our intention with it was to help out people who were in our situation about 8 years ago. If you haven't been following our channel, if you're new, Brittany and I were strapped with debt way over our heads in terms of debt to income ratio.
Payments were through the roof. It was bad.
We were in a very bad spot.
And our income was very low.
Yeah, so we got our act together. We were able to pay off all of our debt in 3 years. And anyways, that's why we started the channel. And it's proven to be a lot more lucrative, at least up until this point, than we initially thought it was. We didn't even figure we'd be monetized yet. And here we are sitting with like 7,600 subs, so.
Huge thanks to everybody.
Yeah. All right, our next source is Amazon affiliates. So this is kind of a must-have if you're planning on going into social media. And it doesn't have to be Amazon affiliate, but just some sort of affiliate type of marketing. This is a very easy income source to earn money from. Anybody can do it if you have like even a little bit of a following. Basically how Brittany and I use Amazon affiliates is we link to products that we use in the description of all of our videos. People want to go down there and look at what we use. They purchase something. We get a little bit of a commission from it, not much. They don't get charged anymore for the product, but Amazon pays us, I guess, a little bit of an advertising fee just for basically linking things that we use anyway. That has earned us about $150 this month.
So our next income source may sound a little strange, but it's our cash rewards from using our credit card. And this month we'll be getting $105 from it.
Yeah, so this is not something that we cash out every month. We usually wait until we get like $100 or so saved up, and then we'll cash it out. And basically the way this works is the company we have our credit card with pays us to use it. If we spend $100 on groceries, I think we get 2% cash back on groceries. We get $2 that's kind of like set aside in a cashback rewards account that we can pull from or use to help pay the grocery bill down. We just usually keep it there. Not every credit card does this, but there are a lot who do. Some credit cards offer like travel points or reward points or whatever. But Brittany and I used to be against credit cards. We used to think using credit cards was irresponsible. Kind of changed our minds a little bit. If the person who's using it is not irresponsible with money and is not spending more money than they would be normally on a credit card just to get the money back. If that's the case, it's not worth using it. You're just wasting money. But Brittany and I use a credit card just to buy things we would normally be buying anyway, and we pay it off as soon as it posts. So total for credit card cash rewards this month, $105. And again, that's kind of like a backup of the past 3 or 4 months or so.
So our next income source is our digital products. Right now we only have one. It's a debt payoff organizer. It's something Mike and I really wish we had early on when we were paying off all of our debt.
So basically the reason we developed this is just to help people who are at the beginning of their debt-free journey get organized, get like all of their debts on paper, their interest rates, help them budget a little bit, kind of just get everything in one place so they can see it. And so they're not as anxious about starting their debt-free journey. When Brittany and I first started budgeting and trying to get our finances in order, it took a long time, and it took a lot of trial and error and messing up with this and then fixing this, and months upon months of work. And if we just had kind of a starting point from somebody who had gone through everything that we were about to go through, it would have made things a lot more, easier is the wrong word, but a lot less time consuming. So with digital products this month, we have made $47.34.
So our next income source is the interest we make on our savings account, and that came to $13.29 this month.
Yep, so Brittany and I would always recommend a high interest savings account. We used to not have one. We used to have tens of thousands of dollars in a savings account that was paying us 0.01% interest.
Yeah.
And then we moved to Ally, and when we moved to Ally, they were paying 2.4% interest. Now they're paying 0.6, but it's still a lot better than the 0.1 or 0.01 that you'd be getting in a lot of savings accounts out there. And our ninth and final income source is from dividend-paying stocks and stock rewards that we get for using Robinhood. So if you're watching and are unsure of what dividends are, basically it's you invest in buying a stock of a company, and a stock is basically just a portion of a company that's put out there in the marketplace that you can buy. Sometimes companies will pay their shareholders a percentage of the stock price as a thank you for buying. So this is a very popular investment strategy. It's called dividend investing. There's this whole plethora of videos out there about it, so we won't get too deep into it here. So between the dividends that we get paid for owning stocks and just rewards that we get through Robinhood, we've made about $10.84 so far this month. So the grand total this month for Brittany's and my income is $7,582.06. Here's where the problem comes in. If you break down all of our income sources into percentages, the vast majority of our income, 84.2%, comes from Brittany's and my work. So Brittany's job, tutoring, and photography. Only 16% comes from everything else. Why is that a problem? Well, the problem is we're getting most of our money from a job. And I want to be clear, there's nothing wrong with having a job. Having a job could be a huge blessing in many scenarios, many circumstances. In fact, it has been for Brittany and I. Our job is also a great place to start off financially. However, there are some big drawbacks with getting the majority of your income from a job like Brittany and I are doing. The first one being there's not really any downside protection if you get fired. There's a lot of risk of getting fired, of losing all your income, because if you get fired or get laid off or something like that, and all your income is coming from a job, well, all your income disappears.
The second drawback if you're working a 9-to-5 job is if your income goes up, so do your taxes. And another drawback is your income is always limited, because if you're trading your time for money, there's only a certain amount of hours you can work in a day.
It's also a lot easier to get comfortable in a job because there's this prominent sense of security and certainty that comes with it, like a promise of a paycheck. In our opinion, due to this, it's just kind of a lot easier to get stuck and become stagnant. The last drawback we'll mention about a job, and this is something we've talked about in one of our previous videos, is that you can quickly become dependent upon other people, like your boss or a management team telling you what to do, how to do it, when to do it, etc. It kind of trains your brain to think inside of this mental cage as opposed to being self-sufficient and independent in terms of your thinking. These are all things that we've noticed in our own lives with having a job, or else we wouldn't be talking about them. Which leads us to the solution for all of these problems that having a job presents, at least in Brittany's and my case, and that is we just need to kind of flip-flop the tables of our income ratio. So 84% of our income is coming from Brittany and I trading our time for money, and only 16% of it is coming from passive, more or less, sources. So we just need to turn that around, where we're getting 84% from passive sources and maybe only 16% from actively trading our time for money. So we need to dramatically increase the amount of income we're earning from investments in income producing assets and that sort of thing. So things that we can either create or invest in once that pay us for a lifetime or a very long time afterward.
Some examples would be the stock market, real estate, digital products, or actual physical products you can sell.
If we have a steady stream of clients, customers, or investment income, we won't have to worry about getting fired from a single boss, because we'll be getting income from like multiple sources.
All of the examples we talked about before have tax advantages that a regular 9-to-5 job doesn't.
So on dividends, you're either taxed at like 0% or 15 to 20% capital gains tax, just depending on your income, which is a lot better than like a 37% marginal tax rate. The same thing with real estate. Up to a certain amount of real estate appreciation, you're taxed at 0. After that, it's like 15 to 20% capital gains rate, just depending on your income again and how much of the appreciation has happened. There's also something called a 1031 exchange in real estate, and that's basically where, like, if you buy a property at a certain amount and it appreciates, and then you sell it. Let's say you make $100,000, and that would normally be taxable. If you do a 1031 exchange into another property, you can use that $100,000 to buy another property with, and you pay 0 taxes on it whatsoever. That's an overly simplified version of it. So if you're thinking about doing this stuff yourself, consult a professional CPA or accountant. I'm not one. This video is for purely entertainment purposes only.
In terms of financial growth being limited by time, if you have a library or a plethora of products that you can sell that help people solve problems, especially on the internet, you'll have a very scalable source of income. Whereas a job that's 9 to 5 is only limited to the time you have in a day.
Yeah. Time is not scalable whatsoever.
Right.
Also, job security isn't really what it used to be. So if you look at government statistics, the average layoff or discharge rate over the last 5 years is about 15%, meaning you have a 15% chance of being fired on average from any job. In Brittany's, in my opinion, once your passive income gets up to a certain amount, there's a lot more security and safety that comes from that than there would be from income coming from a job.
And if we're running our own business, we rely on ourselves instead of someone else telling us what to do, like management or your boss.
So that's basically what Brittany and I need to do to solve this problem we have with our income. That's also something that you guys can do if you find yourself in more or less the same situation that Brittany and I are in. Also, maybe if you're in a job that you don't like, if you don't really want to try and transition to into another career or something like that, you can maybe start trying developing passive sources of income and start building up a business for yourself. So with that being said, guys, that's going to do it for us today. Thanks so much for watching. We appreciate it.
And if you enjoyed today's video, please give it a huge thumbs up. It helps the YouTube algorithm, and subscribe for more.
You can follow us on Instagram at It's Mike and Brit. We post there every now and then. Grab your free stock again with Robinhood, link below. And with that being said, we'll see you next time.
Bye.